So in this video, we're going to look at the difference between selecting an individual voice and a keyboard set library. And I'm going to begin by telling you what a keyboard set library is. A keyboard set library can be an individual sound, it can be a mix of two sounds, it could be a mix of three sounds. It could have a lower voice or not. It could have a split in place or not. In a nutshell, a keyboard set library is a complete registration, but it has no style data saved in it. Why is this such a fantastic feature? Well, just take this scenario. You're on a different make of keyboard and you spend 10-15 minutes or even longer in some cases, I appreciate that, making your favorite mixture of piano and strings, and you've got everything just as you want it. Well, yes, people will use the argument you can save that as a registration. But maybe the following day, I've got a totally different rhythm going, and I think, do you know what? My piano and strings would go well with that. What you've got to do is go back to the registration. You've got to find it, select it, and then you've got to edit that registration by changing the rhythm, then resave it as a new registration. What we do here is we save our favorite edited voices, mixtures of sounds, and we store them in the keyboard set library. Now, Korg have given you a wealth of set libraries by presets, but we also have a whole user bank at our disposal, so we can save all our own favorite pianos, piano mixes, we can do our string sounds, we can do our organ settings, and we can save them all into the buttons here. Individual sounds are different. It's an individual sounds or mixtures of individual sounds that make up a keyboard set library. So I've reloaded the Austrian Grand keyboard set library. That is a Korg preset library. And we can see it's using Austrian Grand and Austrian Grand RX. Now, Austrian Grand RX is a sound you certainly wouldn't use it on its own. It's all the ambient noises and the sounds of the cabinet and the mechanism inside a piano, and it just adds that extra bit of realism when mixed with the grand piano. So I'm happy with that, but I'd like some strings with it. So how do I do that? Now, the mistake that a lot of people say is, well, I'll go to strings here. But let's do that. Let's go to strings, and I look across and I think, oh yeah, real strings, DNC, that's nice. So we've selected that, we press exit. Hang on, our pianos have gone. And the reason they've gone is because we've called up a set library, which is a preset mix or edit of sounds. How would we do it? Well, let's go back to our Austrian Grand. We've got a spare section here, upper 3. First of all, how do I switch upper 3 on? Well, you can do it two ways. You have section on-off buttons here. So I could press upper 3, and when I do, just watch, that should illuminate. Yes, it does, to indicate that upper 3 is now active. I could have done it another way. If you look for each sound, it's in a rectangle, and that rectangle is split into two parts. The left-hand side has an image indicating the type of sound, and the right-hand part indicates the section that we're talking about and the name of the sound that's currently loaded. Well, to switch a section on using the touch screen, you touch the picture element of that rectangle, and that comes on, and look, it works in tandem with the light. That's come on as well. But we got the wrong sound in there at the moment. We got blend and sub pad. I wanted a string sound. So to select the sound, we press the text part of the rectangle. And that takes us to what I think for most of you will be a familiar sound selection screen. So we have factory sounds. These are all the latest samples from Korg. We have the Legacy Bank. Again, got all the categories exactly the same down the side, but these are sounds taken from some of the older Korg products. And don't be put off when I say some of the older Korg products. There are some fabulous and really, really usable sounds in there. First of all, in their own right, but also don't forget you could mix a legacy voice or a couple of legacy voices with a factory voice. So you can mix all these sections together. You've then got the GM, which is general MIDI sounds, and XG, which is expanded general MIDI. So instead of just getting one general MIDI piano, we have lots of variations. That's what the XG part is. We then go on to user, where we can load user voices that we've obtained ourselves. I'm going to go back to factory. And I'm going to go into the strings and vocals section because that's what I'm looking for. And actually, the one I'm looking for is actually on page 1. But we could go through the page numbers, as I'm sure you know. I'm going to choose Ballad Strings DNC. I always get in the habit of pressing exit because I can now see that what I've selected is registered. So we've now got Austrian Grand RX, Strings DNC. If I was to activate the split, look, our little picture has shown us immediately that we've got the split in place. And I'm going to go to the lower section now. And again, we're choosing an individual sound here. So to activate it, let's touch the picture, touch the text to select the sound. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose Dream Voice. Now, that is how you would select that mix of sounds. Now, once you're happy with it, and to get yourself happy with it, the most basic thing you would need to do is to get the right mix of volumes, because just switching those sections off, on and off is not enough. You need to go a stage further. And one of the most important things is to use one of these other tabs at the bottom, which says Mixer. And we're going to talk about an expanded mixer in the next little video, but for now I can see the volumes. And what you would do is continuously keep playing, highlight the volume control, and I use the data wheel. You can use your finger to go up and down. I just find it a little bit more accurate to use the wheel. But keep testing, get everything exactly as you want it to, and then go back to your keys. So hopefully now you should have a nice balanced piano string mix with a split in place and Dream Voice on the lower. And do you know what? I think I'm going to use that sound over and over again. So I need to save it. And to save it, I come up to our 3 lines in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And it says Save Keyboard Set to Library. So we press that. I don't want to call it Austrian Grand because Korg have already kindly provided us with a keyboard set library called Austrian Grand. So press the text button, and this one's quite easy. I'm going to add the, made a bit of a mess of that. I'm going to add the symbol for and then I'm just going to put the abbreviation STR. I know that means strings. You put in that screen whatever works for you. Press OK. And where do we want to go to? So if I press the user voice here, yeah, I've already made myself a piano section. So I'm going to save it there. So that's fine. I'm going to save it into my user piano. Save. So I've now saved that mixture of piano and strings with the lower voice on as well. How would we find it? This is where we go to the keyboard set library rather than the individual sounds. Go here, go on to user, and in piano we should find Austrian Grand and string, and there it is. And I can recall that at any time without altering the rhythm. That is the power and the beauty of storing things in the keyboard set library. So I hope that's shown you the difference between accessing individual voices and then mixing individual voices together to form a keyboard set library.